Shut up and sit down.
Hey guys, Andy here from Bigmeks Workshop Painting Studio, and it's the Gene Stealer Cult Abominant thing. Weird looking figure, this dude. Got a little friend as well to hang around with him. It's got a bit of a Master Blaster vibe from Mad Max 3. So you've got like a big dumb guy getting led around by a little dude who's helping him out make the right decisions. As you can see, it's a really cool fig, and as always we've got a black prime, and getting started with the flesh. So it started with flesh, which is DAEMONETTE hide. I wanted something similar to the GW version. DAEMONETTE hide is a suggested paint scheme for the skin on a blister pack. So after a few good layers of DAEMONETTE hide, I decided to block in the chitin armor plates. I'm never quite sure exactly how to pronounce that, which is a scale 75 colour. This is navy blue, something along the same sort of lines as Cantor blue. Is a nice rich blue, so you get a good couple of layers on there as well, and just blocking in the colours initially, just so we've got something to see as you know, a black model on the back with a black background makes it a little bit difficult in the early sections. So once we've got the navy blue down, I'm going to start working on his dungarees. Now the dungarees I started off with ESHIN grey, and the initial colour I wanted it to be a sort of a dirty grey. ESHIN grey was what I stumped for. Now it wasn't. I didn't get the effect I wanted initially, and but we'll get to that at a later date. But what you're getting is, rather than going for denim, I wanted it to look a bit more factory-ish, more like overalls rather than classic dungarees. Okay, working back onto the flesh, and we added some harvester flesh into the mixture, and this is just going to start bringing up that nice fleshy colour. It's going to be a little bit on the grey spectrum, which is going to make it look unhealthy and unnatural, which is kind of a point of the DAEMONETTE hide. But as we build up the layers, you can see the muscle texture starting to show through. You're going to get really cool looking highlights, and the adding just the gentle layers, glazing up with the using the muscle texture as your guide. You also using ever decreasing bands of highlights. You don't want to be highlighting the same areas too many times, otherwise you're not going to get the desired effect. And this is just going to bring that colour to a really nice fleshy colour, but a little bit unnatural as well. After that, we're going to throw in some DRUCHII violet in a recessed wash, just nice and thin down, focusing on the darker sections, the more obvious muscle textures. You don't have to go all the way around it, but I felt that adding this extra DRUCHII violet was just going to bring out that purple a little bit, add some more definition to the muscle. So now we're back onto the harvester flesh. Again, this is pure harvester flesh. Again, it's always really thin down for this sort of skin work, and it's just going to start adding a natural sort of shade to it. So it's going to lighten the colour. It's going to make it look a bit more flesh-like, but it's still going to look unhealthy, which is kind of a point. It's going to these guys have been underground for a long time, kept out of the way where no one can see them. So now we've added a touch of MISKATONIC grey. Again, still keeping this super thin. We're using the glazing techniques and using really tiny amounts of paint. It's really thin, and we're just focusing nicely on those upper reaches of the muscle texture now. And this is just going to start bringing up those final highlights, getting a really vibrant colour what it's going to start coming through. So we added even more Miskatonic Grey. It's basically pure Miskatonic. Just to this Harvest of Flesh again, and we're just starting to focus up again right on the centre sections, the what you could call the hotspots, and bringing that sort of really light grey colour to it. So it's going to start taking on an unnatural sort of grey pallor now, and you're going to get a really interesting skin tone. So we've added some Moonray Flesh. This is kind of a creamy colour now, similar to Bleach Bone, I suppose. You could add that sort of colour to it. I'm just going to start to lighten the Miskatonic, and just going to start getting the highlights really nice now. But rather than using a white, you want to be using a cream colour, as the white would make it look really chalky, whereas the cream's got that touch of yellow in it. So you're going to keep some colour in the flesh, but it's unnatural, it's unhealthy, and you're going to just build up these really nice highlight patterns, really focusing on the knees, the extended muscle textures, you know, anywhere where you think the light would naturally hit. Just more so make sure that you pick a single direction for your light source, and you're working with that light source, so you're not getting the full highlights all over the model. So this is even more Moonray Flesh. This is going to be the last highlight for the skin, and it's just going to be pretty much pure Moonray Flesh, and just really focusing on those extreme areas now, just to really bring out those final points. And you're getting that natural progression of highlights using them darker colours, and just gently feeding in extra highlight colours, and this is just going to really make them look a lot more interesting. So back onto the chitin, and this is Miskatonic Grey again, but it's added to the navy blue, and again we're doing the same sort of techniques. You can go a little bit harsh on this because this is armour rather than flesh, so you can really build up the edge highlights on this. So we're focusing, at the minute, we're just bringing out the definition of the model, letting some of the lighter colour flow into the deeper areas, because some of it's just going to tidy up the colour, and you're going to bring it up really, really nicely over a period of time. So adding more Moonray Flesh, just continuing following the same sort of pattern as we did with the flesh work, and this is just going to not Moonray Flesh, more Miskatonic Grey, and we're following the same pattern as before, but again we're painting on a lesser area. Again, this is, as always, it's really, really thin down, so you get a lot of wiggle room in case anything goes wrong. It's really easy to tidy up. So now I've added some Moonray Flesh, and as you can see, it's a slightly turquoisey colour now, and it's just starting to focus on the extreme edges, using almost an edge highlighting technique. I'm just bringing them colours together. We're going to use these same colours to blend into the skin as well, so you're going to get a nice interesting transition into the skin. And we're just finally adding some edging with pure Moonray now onto the real pointed edges of the armour plates, and just to add a bit of that nice hard edge on the armour, just to make it look a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more interesting, and you're going to get a really nice final sharp point on there. Chop section 4673. I'm going back into the skin for a little bit. We're just adding some more Moonrain flesh, a little bit of off-white in there as well, just to brighten up a touch. I'm just going around some of the most extreme areas, just to tidy up any areas where the highlights aren't quite where we want them. I'm just going to go back and brighten up those final touches, just to get some real nice leading edges on the muscle texture. Okay, it's got a few spots on the model what I did notice. So we're going for a KOKUM copper. Now this is a kind of a peanut buttery kind of colour. Zamizi Desert will work just as well. Anything like that, just to make it stand out a little bit. You don't need to go overboard. Just a couple of nice gentle layers of this kind of a yellowy colour, just to separate it from the rest of the skin. Okay, now we're going to work on his overalls, and this is Storm Vermin Fur. As you guys know, Storm Vermin Fur is a really good colour to go over the top of ESHIN Grey, and it's got a kind of a yellowy hue to it as well, which will fit in nicely with the rest of the colour scheme, because there's a lot of very subtle yellows in the skin tone. And what we're doing is, again, we're highlighting along the ripples of a cloak, along the edges of the thing as well, and just to bring up those the ripples and the edges of the clothing. So I've added a bit of Dawnstone in there now, and this is just to brighten up a little bit more. We're leaving some of the other colours showing through. We don't want to be taking it too far away from its natural colour of the ESHIN Grey, because we want this looking dark and dirty. And the Dawnstone's a little bit of a clean grey, which is not what I wanted. Once we're happy with the Dawnstone, going back over with a wash now. This is Agrax Earthshade. It's been really thinned down. Again, it's going to start adding a little bit of definition in there. It's going to add also a little bit of a greasy, grimy look to it as well. But still a little bit too clean at this stage. But we've still got plenty of time to work with it. We're not. It's definitely salvageable from the effect what I was wanting. So it's a little bit too close to the skin colours. Doesn't stand out well enough. But we're going back with the Dawnstone. We've added some Miskatonic Grey to it, and just to finish off those highlights. It's a nice colour. The highlights are just right, but the colour the shading is a little bit wrong. So we're going to have to come back to that in a little while, just to make it stand out properly against the rest of the skin. Because it just didn't stand out just right. So a little bit more of the Miskatonic Grey there, and we're just highlighting some leading edges just to get that to get it looking highlighted, looking finished, even though we've still got a little bit of work to do. We just want to get it looking right. Again, all the highlights towards the leading edges and along the extreme edges of the overalls. So it's got a kind of a loinclothy thing. We've done a base of corn red, which sadly I didn't catch on camera. But as you can see, just a simple base of corn red, and we're highlighting that with WAZDAKKA red towards the edges of the his loincloth. And this is going to start adding a little bit of colour to the guy, so brighten it up a little bit, because it's still very plain. As for his hammer, let's start off with RUNELORD brass. I wanted a kind of maybe a burnished iron, sort of bronzy looking hammer, something like it's cobbled together from lampposts or something, but any kind of scrap metal anyway. So RUNELORD brass, a couple of good layers of that on the hammer head, and any of the other areas where it would sort of make sense that the same material will be used. On for his chains. They are in LEADBELCHER, and that's getting a nice even coat across all the chain work, just to make them all the same, as there's no reason why they wouldn't be. So we've got plenty of colour on this guy, so we didn't need to add any extra colours. We just wanted to just break the metallic work up. So first highlight on the hammer is SYCORAX bronze. Really gentle colour this. It does highlight nicely over the RUNELORD, but it is very thin, so you do need to put a little bit extra work in there, because it's a very gentle highlight over the over the RUNELORD. So you might find you need an extra layer or so. And once the SYCORAX has gone down, you can't do any bronze work without painting Agrax Earthshade on it. So as always, thinned it down about 50-50 with some thinners, and going all over the metalwork, including the chains, and also into his mouth as well, where he's going to have some rotting teeth all around the buckles around his dungarees. I'm getting highlight, they're getting shaded with Agrax Earthshade. And once all that's dried, we're going over the top of it all, including on the metalworks, with Nuln Oil to add some more definition to any of the painted up metals. So we're going back onto the hammerhead, and all the bronze work is a mix of SYCORAX and LEADBELCHER now. And as you can see, the highlights are a little bit more defined, and they're just nice and gently aimed towards the upper sections. We want to be able to see some of the darker colours showing through, so just being really careful to keep the paint quite thin. This is a really nice highlight colour, adding a little bit of silver in there just to bring it all up. And now just focusing towards the edges, it's a pure LEADBELCHER. Again, it's been thinned down a little bit. We don't want to overpower any of the darker colours. It's just it makes it look, the bronze look a little bit more worn, and just adds a nice pointed highlight onto it. And we're going to add one more highlight on all the metalwork, including the chains. This is Vallejo's Chrome. I've used this a whole bunch of times. It's a really nice vibrant colour, and it really does add a nice final highlight on the points of your metalwork. Just be careful, it's quite vibrant, so you don't want to overpower anything. You just be very sparing with it. As going over bronze, you can overpower some of the darker colours. And again, we're going back in with some Nuln Oil, this time over the red. This is something I saw on the blister pack for the model, and it does nicely change the colour of the red. So I've gone back over the loincloth with WAZDAKKA red, and this is just a really nice highlight over this darkened WAZDAKKA. So you get a really interesting transition. It's something I've never tried before, washing red with black, and I do like the effect it gives. So once the WAZDAKKA's gone on, we're using ALDEBRAN red by scale 75. We're going to start picking out the details on the loincloth now, and as you can see, it starts becoming quite a vibrant red. It was sort of the direction we wanted it to be. Really add a little bit of colour to the model. And on the final highlight for the red is a nice little bit of Mars orange, just to add some nice final touches of the of colour to the most prominent areas on the loincloth. It's just going to make it look a little bit brighter, a little bit more interesting, and just to add those nice little hot spots to the red colours. So at this stage, it's about time I start doing some of the leather work, and this is DRYAD bark. Really taken to liking DRYAD bark. Been using it a lot instead of the scale 75 ranges, and it gives you a nice earthy colour. Again, it's quite a warm colour, which is really nice and complementary against the cool skin colours. So it's just to add a little bit more warmth into the model, just to take away from the inherent coolness of the blues and the greys. The highlights for the DRYAD bark is GORTHOR brown first, and this is just going to be added a little bit of extra definition to any of the lumps and razors in the model. Also going on the handle of the hammer as well. That's going to be painted up in much the same way, but keeping towards the points of the. It's got kind of a diamond pattern in there, so really just focusing on showing them points through. As you can see, we're going to just bring it all together with a little bit of Agrax. It's just does a nice job of just honing any of the colours together, just to soften the transitions a little bit. So once that's gone down, we're going to add some sandalwood by scale 75 to the GORTHOR, and we're going to start focusing those the grip on the handle guard, on the handle, and across the raised areas on his little bag of bones. And you can see just where I'm leaving some of the darker colours showing through, or even on the higher sections, just to give you a bit more texture to the model. So more sandalwood at this stage. Is pretty much just sandalwood, and this is again going all over the bag and the handle. Just show it on the upper areas. We're leaving underneath. We're leaving some of the darker colours showing through again, because we want to give you that illusion of the light moving around. And now it's pretty much pure sandalwood, just for final touches with the 00. Again, it's also going to be going on the handle, any of the other areas, but just need a little bit more colour to it, just to make it look a bit more interesting. So as I was saying, I didn't quite get the colour the way I wanted it on the overalls, and Dodge suggested I used maybe a thin filter of sepia, and this actually was a really good call. Really changed the colour of the greys, made it look a lot more dirty and oil stained, and it just warmed it up a little bit and just took it away from the greyness of the skin, just at a distance allowed you to see it a little bit better, and just really made the difference on the skin work. So using the GORTHOR and sandalwood mix as I've used as a base for the skulls and bones and things in his little pouch, I'm just going to start highlighting that up with Moonray flesh once we've got a decent layer on it. So Moonray flesh now, just going over there, and then a little bit of white just to bring out the detail work, and you're going to get a nice interesting bone colour. It's not your classic yellowy bone, it's a bit more of a pinky sort of colour, so it looks a little bit different, but it's still on the right sort of looking at the right sort of colours. So he's had an oil wash, painted up his mate, and there you have it. That is the Genestealer Cult Abominant. Really weird looking model. I didn't when I was looking at the kit when I was getting ready for building it, didn't think I'd enjoy painting it, but in actual fact I did. This is a really nice model to paint. If you enjoy painting skin work, this is perfect for you. So yeah, fully enjoyed painting this big dude. and I just thought his little mate was absolutely genius. The way he just sort of lurks behind him, just pointing him in the right direction. Proper cool model. So as always, we've got a whole bunch of thank yous to make. So we would love to thank everybody for watching this video. We do really, we couldn't do this without you, and without you guys watching, it'd just be pointless. So thank you to you guys for watching. If you're interested in helping us out for real, then check us out on Patreon. We've got a whole bunch of tiers. We've got loads of different benefits, and also speaking of our Patreons. We also massive thanks to the York Boys, Matt, Ludwig Hofbauer, D-Wack, Mark, Dave, Tom, Spiky Dude and Warren. So thank you guys for being our Patreons. You're our top Patreons. Also check out Element Games and the Outpost. They're our affiliate links. The links are in the description. Get a whole bunch of benefits from checking them out. Your standard 15 to 20% off any of your hobby supplies. If you go through our links, we also get a 5% kickback from any sales you get at no cost to you, so that also helps us out, which is an absolute godsend, because without having the assistance from these guys, make life a lot more difficult for us to keep the windows clean and get the products in we need to help you, to show you guys what we can do. So thank you guys for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one. Take care, bye.